Blessings, beloveds. Welcome back, Anastasia, Cosmic Astrologer, with you guys. And today's topic is the topic of dreams, as in the dreams that we have when we go into sleep, which is basically an altered state of consciousness. This subject is huge. I could really talk about it for hours, but I won't be doing that today. I just want to share some thoughts, some ideas for you guys to consider if you're interested in understanding your dreams and working with them from an astrological perspective. So I guess the first thing is that the dreams, as in the dreams we have when we go to sleep, correlate specifically to Pisces and the 12th house and Neptune. So when you go to sleep, there's this ultimate experience of Neptune, in the sense of Neptune is where we need to surrender. It's what symbolizes or correlates to the act of surrendering, right? So when you go to sleep, what do? You essentially surrender, don't you? You don't lay there and control or monitor your breath or anything about the sleep experience. You just simply lay there, you fall asleep, and there's this immediate sense of surrendering and letting go, which takes us into an altered state of consciousness, which is the 12th house, Pisces, and Neptune. Through this altered state of experience, where we go into the realm of dreams, dreams can be connected to past life traumas and just past lives in general. Particularly when you're having reoccurring dreams, and if they're really intense dreams that really jolt you, when you wake up, there can be a sense of not even realizing you're awake and not even remembering who you are or what is actually going on, because a dream can feel so incredibly real, because it is. Now, if you're wanting to really understand the messages of your dreams, the first thing is to understand that when you do have these recurring dreams, particularly, it's the soul component of who you are, desiring to work through some past life matters and issues or traumas. So the way the soul does that is that when you do go to sleep and you surrender and you let go, the unconscious component within you is completely open, and hence the experience of astral travel, for instance, going into that dimension and actually meeting certain experiences or people or places or faces that come back into your consciousness, where you get to sort of relive, as it were, past life experiences. It can be very intense, very traumatic, and very terrifying at times as well. It just depends what sort of dreams you're having. I think when you have personal planets, especially, that it can correlate to other planets, the outer planets as well, definitely. Any planet really in the 12th house. When you have a strong 12th house, or even if you have one planet in the 12th house, the realm of dreams would more than likely be a very rich component of your life, for better or for worse. It just depends, I guess, what you've got in the 12th house. If you've got Venus in the 12th house, then not always necessarily, but generally speaking, the experience of dreams should have a Venusian quality to it. So there's a sense of enjoyment. If you have Mars in the 12th house, then the dreams can correlate to trauma and violence, as can Uranus in the 12th house correlate to trauma as well. So and if Saturn's there, it can correlate to dreams about the fear of losing control, as it were, because Saturn is the principle of control. So it's really a question of understanding, first of all, what planet you have in the 12th house and what that particular planet correlates to. That's one level. And then there's the level of recurring dreams, as I said, the dreams that we have are always giving us some kind of message from our unconscious. When we are awake on a day-to-day basis and we're going about our business, we are really operating from that personality level, right? The external level. And that's the sun's sort of purpose, if you like. And that's what actually gives us the boundaries, the defenses, the natural sort of defenses and boundaries that we have in order to experience the sense of I, as in I'm here, I'm sitting right here and you're sitting over there, and I know that I'm me, and I know that you're a separate identity or a separate person to me. This is what the day, the experience of day through our daily consciousness enables us to have this sense of separation, if you like. But when we go to sleep, all of that is, we're not in that space anymore because we've surrendered. So we open up to the realms of the unconscious, which is why these experiences of dreams take place, because the element of surrender and letting go and the opening of the unconscious brings up into the consciousness through dreams what we normally keep suppressed, what we normally are unaware of, but is actually working and operating within us all the time anyway. It's just through the experience of dreams, and through the experience of surrender, there's an opening that takes place so we can activate, well, we do actually activate it whether we like it or not. That's why we have these dreams. But the world of dreams, in other words, enables us to access material, very important material, pertaining to many different lifetimes where there's incredible resolution that can take place. That's why we have the dreams that we do. Now, I personally myself have a very active dream life, and I always have, as long as I can possibly remember in this particular life. And I do have bodies in the 12th house. I've also had the experience of having many prophetic dreams as well. So my intuition, my dream life is incredibly rich. And this is why I chose to sit down and actually do a video on this subject, because I know there are a lot of you out there that dream a lot, want to understand your dreams better. Many of you would have dream journals. I certainly do. When my father transcended this planet 2.5 years ago, I bought a dream journal to document every single dream I had of him, because for the first 18 months, I was dreaming of him every single night, and the dreams were super intense and they were complex and had many different layers and dimensions to them. And I've documented every single dream. Now, I also have transiting Pluto in my 12th house, and it's been there for a while now, and it still will be in there for a while because I've got Aquarius rising, so Pluto is not going to get to my first house until Pluto goes into Aquarius. So I've still got a few years left. But while Pluto has been in my 12th house, my dream life has been really, really intense, to say the least. And you imagine it would be with a body like Pluto transiting the 12th house, which is the area of the chart that correlates to that altered state of consciousness that we enter every time we go to sleep. Now, as I was saying before, on a day-to-day basis, we are not conscious of these 12th house components, which is the deepest unconscious part of us. And whether we like it or not, we have these dreams and these experiences in our dreams that, as I said, can be terrifying, can bring up past life traumas, all sorts of things can come up. And unless we learn to understand these dreams through the symbolism that they bring up and what it is your soul is actually trying to resolve and heal, because that's essentially what it's trying to do, then these dreams can just be an experience of having nightmares and not understanding why and not being able to resolve and work through them. So what I'm trying to suggest is this, because I've been doing this for many, many years, and it's also a very powerful way to learn astrology, because it's a powerful way to understand the symbolism of astrology. Astrology is a language of symbols. And once you learn to understand, to read all the symbols, then you can really get to the essence and the heart of what astrology really reflects and represents. So when I have a significant dream, which is just about all the time, and I'm a person who remembers my dreams. For some reason, I have very vivid memories. So when I have a dream, I will usually wake up from it at some point. And the first thing I do is I look at my watch. Now, I don't sleep with my watch, but I have a watch next to my bed. So the first thing I will do is look at the time of when I've just woken up out of that dream, and I'll record the time. And depending on how I'm feeling, if I'm really tired or whatever, I'll just leave that there and I'll leave it for the morning when I wake up. Sometimes I'll grab my computer and actually draw up a chart in that moment right there and there. So what I suggest is that when you have a really important, what feels like an important dream to you, even if it was super, super scary, or even if it was super delightful and pleasurable, record the time if you happen to wake up, and if you want to get into a habit of doing this, because then you can draw up a chart just in the same way you have a birth chart. You draw up a chart for this dream, and that actual chart that you draw up for the time you've woken up is literally a map, a mirror image showing to you all the various layers and components of that dream. And you will see the correlations remarkably. You'll be blown away, actually. And this is another way, as I said, to really help you deepen your understanding of the symbolism of a chart and of the symbols, the planets, the signs, everything that's contained within a chart. It takes a little bit of practice. I've been doing this for many, 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 many years, and I've got, loads of charts saved in my own personal file where I've had really significant dreams, where when I do the chart and I look at the chart, there's always something that immediately stands out for me. It's not like I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, this, I can't see the dream in this at all. Sometimes it is a little bit obscure, so I'm not suggesting that every time it's 100% clear. You have to sit with it for a little while and allow yourself to reflect and absorb it and see how that fleshes out or fills out the narrative for you of whatever dream you had. Now, almost always is something in the 12th house. Always pay attention to planets in the 8th, the 12th, and the 4th, the three water houses. They are usually quite prominent in the dream experience. And also, what can be very, very important and powerful is when you draw up that chart and you see a symbol, a planet, a body, even an asteroid, on any of the four angles of the chart. So the ascendant, the IC, the descendant, and the midheaven. When you have a planet on one of those angles, it's a key player in what it's trying to help you understand about this dream that you had. And the planet or body on one of those angles, because it's going to be a key player, is really going to be the key symbol of the theme of the dream that you were having. And then you can start to look at other levels, seeing like, for example, this planet on the angle, what other aspects does it have to any other planets, and how does that other planet aspecting this planet on the angle draw out the story even more, expand it even more? This can be a very, very useful practice for you to help you understand what your dreams are trying to tell you, because they're essentially messages from your unconscious which are trying to help your soul resolve and work through and heal through certain past life traumas, or just intense past life experiences. Because remember, every life that we've lived And every experience that we've had is retained in the soul's memory. So you're born into this life. It's not necessarily a clean slate. You've come in, but there's a residue of a number of different memories and experiences that reside within you in your long-term memory, which is ruled by Uranus. So you could have a dream where Uranus is in the 12th house. When you wake up and you draw up that chart and Uranus is in the 12th house, or it's on one of those angles, and that can be a very powerful symbol for an incredible breakthrough for you to help you understand the message of this dream. And the power of that can be incredible because of what it can actually show you and help you understand about your waking day conscious reality. And it can also be connected to certain things that are going on in your life at the moment. For instance, you could be going through a really difficult period financially, or in relationships, or with family, or with children, or with whatever, anything, doesn't matter. But the point is that when you see that Uranus there in the 12th house or in conjunct one of those angles, then you immediately can see that A, it's probably connected to some kind of past trauma. B, it can be a powerful awakening point and a breakthrough, because Uranus rules breakthroughs. It's what helps us break through and expand our understanding and our consciousness into things. Just a couple of points I'd like to read out of one of my books. So, as I said, dreams correlate to Pisces, 12th house, and Neptune. So according to the EA model, there are 3 kinds of dreams: past life dreams, superconscious dreams, and dreams that are nonsensical. Recurring dreams over a period of life, sometimes a whole lifespan, can correlate to unresolved dynamics within the soul that correlate with some kind of trauma in which the soul is trying to work through relative to the nature of such dreams, which is essentially what I was just describing. There's also dreams as in sleepwalking that, some certain people in life have this experience. And what EA says about this is sleepwalking is typically associated with unresolved traumas from other lives that are being relived in some way by way of dreams that lead to this phenomenon. When the eyes are closed, this means that the soul is actually detached from the physical body and is thus seeing its surroundings in this way. When the soul does not remember this sleepwalking or the dreams that are associated with that, it means that the nature of the trauma in another life or lives has been so intense and deep that the soul simply fragmented and detached from the event that is linked with the nature of the trauma itself. Thus, no memory. Sleepwalking is linked to past life dreams in which trauma has taken place and is not resolved within the soul. In a dream where you are of the opposite sex, this will typically correlate with memories from another life. Dreams, as in superconscious dreams, this is the definition. Superconscious dreams occur when the soul, during sleep, travels to the astral realm or plane in which some key message or teaching is given to the soul by some kind of entity there. Upon waking, the soul typically is met with a sense of joy combined with depression, where the joy correlates to the nature of superconscious dream itself, and the depression correlates with the awareness that the soul is back in its current life body on earth. And typically upon initially waking up, the soul cannot instantly remember who it is in the current life or where it is. It can sometimes take moments for the soul to remember these things, which reveals it to be a dream and believing the dream to be real, with this conflict between waking and dreaming continuing until waking. Then there is a question that is posed here: does it correlate to certain fear and trauma within the soul? And the answer is yes. It typically is caused by unresolved trauma of some kind in which the soul is trying to relive, resolve, resolve it by the nature of the dream itself. There's also dreams that are called under attack, aggression, danger, sexual assault, attack by evil. That's just another level of dreams. And it says here, what you are sharing and describing here does not of itself correlate with dreams wherein the cause of such dreams is Lucifer, evil. For example, this sort of dream can also be a past life dream that reflects and symbolizes an intense trauma caused by extreme violence, as in a war scenario. The sexual assault could also be linked with such a scenario as being raped. The sense of suffocation can be the memory of the moment of death in such a life, and or linked with the act of sexual violence, as in being restrained or suffocated during the rape. This is pretty intense material, I know. So hopefully you're okay to hear it. It could be, but it is much more likely that such dreams are rooted in deep unresolved trauma that the soul then relieves in various ways in order to try to remove some of the pressure with the soul caused by intense repression on the trauma itself. So there's a few more sections here in this book, and I'm actually just reading out of the EA glossary for those of you that are interested. So yeah, I think that's really what I wanted to say. The main thing that I wanted to bring to your awareness is that when you draw up a chart for the time you've woken up from a dream, that chart is going to reflect to you that dream, because the dream is happening in a particular state of consciousness, which is an altered state of consciousness. And the chart is just the symbolic language and reference to what your consciousness was seeing in that dream state. And as I said, it can, through practice over time, it can sharpen your astrological understanding, and B, it can help you understand what each dream is trying to reveal to you. And I think this is an important subject because the experience of dreams is so complex. There's so many layers to it. It's so deep. But if we don't have some kind of understanding or meaning or ability to have a tool to navigate through that in order to understand it better, to understand ourselves better, then the dreams can just be reoccurring and you know, sort of creating this pain, and one is left in a position of not knowing what to do with it, not knowing what it means or why they keep having this dream. And what I'm suggesting is that by recording times when you do have these dreams and then drawing up charts, you can actually start to find some answers, some resolution, and some deeper understanding to what the message of this dream is really bringing to you. Because you're not having these dreams for nothing. They're not just random dreams that are just happening for no reason. They're very, very deeply rooted in your unconscious, which goes back into, you know, a myriad of lifetimes. The soul has a memory of everything, and we don't resolve everything in one life. That's why we keep coming back. That's why we keep evolving and working through things. And when we've had really intense trauma, which every single one of us has in some way, in some way, shape or form, whether in this life or in other lives, that trauma is deeply imprinted in us. Where does it go? It doesn't go away. So when you have a recurring dream, this is the sign. This is telling you something that your soul is wanting to work through and heal and resolve, because we can do that. We can actually resolve things through our dream life and our dream work. It's working with the unconscious component within you. That's what it is. But it requires, you know, an effort. It requires a desire to wanting to do that. And one suggestion, one method is the way that I've suggested to you guys today. So I hope that's useful. If you haven't considered that before, if you haven't been practicing it, if it does appeal to you, give it a go. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below this video. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and thanks for subscribing and sharing, your comments and questions. And I'll see you guys very soon with another topic. Much love and blessings. And thank you so much, by the way, for all your beautiful love and beautiful comments. When I did my previous video just a couple of days ago, I wasn't feeling very well. I've completely turned that around. And thank you for your beautiful blessings. I give them back to you. See you soon, guys. Bye.